welcome to this week's edition of Wednesday's Winning Woman. We have an awesome guest this week who is known by everyone, not going to be a surprise to anyone. By title, she's the Regional Vice President for the East and for Canada. For Avant, we know the East is beast over there, and it's largely because of the personality and the charisma of their leader. So I'm excited to talk to her and to share with you guys a little bit behind the scenes. Also, she's helped us out a lot as a board member for Exposure. She's an advocate for diversity, a living advocate for diversity and inclusion. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Bana Young to the show.
Well, thank you so much, Brandon. I think it's the first session where my new last name's being used, so I appreciate
that. there you go.
Yeah.
And that's kind of funny because you built. I mean, everyone knows you anyway, especially when they see you're out there and stuff. But yeah, you built a history with your maiden name, right? And people recognizing you.
Oh, I'm keeping it. I can't let go of it in honor of my dad. So there's no way I'm dropping it. But
yeah, I think he wants that. He wants you to retain that, and it works for us. I think we see now. Before you get into this is a good question because I'm very interested in this, especially with successful women or prominent women or well-known women. Did you hyphenate it like legally, or do you just are you just keep it in practice? Like, I don't know what your husband's gonna think when he sees this part of the interview, but
we're going right to that. Yeah. Ironically, in the state of New Hampshire, if you get married, you have to change your name legally, or you end up going to court to change it after the fact. So interestingly enough, because I'm older and have a lot of things that are under Bana Qashu, I have to go back to court and change it back to Bana Qashu.
I didn't even know that before I asked you that. I did not know. I didn't know. Wow. Okay.
So only because candidly, it's a big pain to change everything from your Marriott account to
all that
whole life insurance to the whole nine. So but I'll be young.
You have to go to court, change it back so that you can access certain things, and that
women problems.
Yes.
Last names and pantyhose, the two those terrible things that we have to deal with.
We just can't get it right?
We can't get it right. So anyway.
Oh man. So before I get into your accomplishments, which is our first question, we should acknowledge that, I mean, Avant is a very successful TSD in our space, and you are leading, I'm gonna just say what it is, right? Okay, like you leading the best of what they have. So congratulations on that. And that as your existing role. Everyone out there knows, everyone out there in our ecosystem understands Avant and TSDs and stuff like that. But for someone who might be looking at this, who isn't in the channel and doesn't know our space, could you describe a little bit about your role and like what a TSD does?
Yeah, and I appreciate the accolades, but it really does take a village, and we do have such a special culture, and we couldn't have done what we've done and accomplished on the East Coast without our brilliant marketing team, our state-of-the-art subject matter experts, engineering team, our entire ecosystem, our executive leadership team that leans in with our trusted advisors. So in terms of TSDs and what we're up to these days, we actually never touted ourselves as a TSD. We've always been the platform for IT decision making and enablement. And the reason why is we've always focused on the TA's customer experience, as opposed to you know, the latter. And I won't mention because so
We
many
understand.
TSDs, yeah,
Yeah,
are so different, and they've all achieved success, whether they've sold, bought, merged,
right.
um, over the years. And so we've just been very fortunate to have a culture that wants to enable, go deeper and wider with the customer. If you look at our executive leadership team, if you look at our sales team, most of us came from direct sales, so understand the sales model and what our TAs go through. Therefore, I mean, the value that we bring extends beyond just the people. We have our technology with our Pathfinder platform, and you see many that are adopting platforms as well.
Mhm.
So TSDs will never go away, especially now as we continue to enhance the customer experience through our trusted advisors. Our vendor community, I mean, look at what Zoom did.
Yeah,
You're fully committed to the channel.
yeah,
So it took us a minute, but we got
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. It's listen,
And
it's a learning curve, right? It's a
right,
learning curve for a lot of
exactly.
businesses that don't start off in the channel. You know,
No,
most businesses start off direct selling and they have to learn this side of the house and how it works for sure.
yeah. I mean, I've been at Avant for 7 years now, which is crazy if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think about
that's
it. It's
good.
gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Um, and we always skip the year of COVID because I feel like I
Mhm.
just was a robot,
Yeah.
on Zoom. It's 8:30, get off Zoom at 8:30 p.m. because we had some kind of happy hour, social hour,
Oh,
whatever.
it's
Keep
all
our
yeah,
minds
it
free.
was all day.
And
It
every once in a while, you throw in like a step aerobics class.
you
Uh,
know?
oh no, I'm showing
But
my age. Uh, Spin class, a cycle class,
yeah.
whatever.
That's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
so, um, you
Right.
know, here we are, fast forward, we're more relevant than ever if you think about it in terms of protecting our TAs from a
Yeah.
global buying perspective, in terms of elevating how we're enabling our partners in the market. And so it's cool. It's a really good time to be in this.
I I agree with that. And you did mention that you've been at Avant for 7+ years. I know you have some history before that. So if you look back, we want one accomplishment. I mean, you've done a lot, but we want one accomplishment, one thing you want to share that you look at and you're like, I'm proud of that. I'm proud that happened. Like I did well there. What do you think of?
Um, I mean, there's so many. I'm blessed. I
Mhm.
mean, I wake up every morning and I thank my lucky stars, thank God, whatever higher power you believe in, for at least three things. Um, and I've always gone through life thinking of health, wealth, and family. And so those three values are ingrained, which can translate into integrity, etc. So it was tough getting your question because, I mean, for fun, lighthearted accomplishment, I made it down the aisle.
You're gonna the fact that you actually
This
found time and went through the planning
all
and
the time. Yeah,
showed
exactly.
up. Yeah, yeah. You weren't double booked or triple booked. He didn't keep
No.
standing there waiting for you.
Oh man.
So
And
that's a good thing. But I
yeah,
like I
but
like your first accomplishment too because it's a honestly it's a sign of maturity, right? To find accomplishment and success and a level of rewarding in the daily life,
yeah,
right? And being appreciative of where you are in this life, and the proverbial stop and smell the roses kind of thing of appreciating every day and the
completely.
blessings that you have every day. That's actually awesome. That's a good message.
And I'm also a firm believer, and some have experienced it with me in the channel, in making sure that you have and you honor a vision map, or have a vision board,
Oh
because
yes.
that is a series of big accomplishments, but you put it out into the universe and you let it happen as you make choices in your life. You know, I'm here today. I've had 5 different careers in
Mm-hmm.
my short career. You know, I'm
Mm-hmm.
only 20.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But self-made 3 times. And so you just never know what you're going to end up. So in order to honor yourself and really be a visionary to those around you, you need to know what your goals are and what you stand to gain. What's your foundation? What's your why? Um,
Yes.
and so I often share my goals with my team. I know I talk about my team a lot, but I really mean it. You know, it does
Yeah.
take a village for us to think we're on this earth alone. Doing this by ourselves would be naive. And so, you know, is there one accomplishment? Maybe, but I've had several. I've been very blessed. I mean, last year or 2 years ago, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a goal of doing 139% of quota. And if I were to achieve it for the team, if I were
Mm-hmm.
to achieve it, um, I'm buying a Rolex, just to give you an
Mm-hmm.
idea.
All right.
Um, and everybody knew about it. Ian knew about it, our owner and
Mm-hmm.
CEO. Um, some of my partners knew about it because why not? They become friends. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously it was on my vision board. And guess what? End of year comes and I'm at 137, my team is. And people are like, buy the damn watch. I'm like, no, we did not
Right. You
achieve
did.
the goal. Now, the following year, we definitely like
Mm-hmm.
achieved it and more. So it's key to like stay true to your goals so that your accomplishments are all the more sweeter. Now, I'm not saying buy stuff, and that's what
Yeah.
makes it
But
sweet.
it's right. It's your vision board. Everyone has their own,
Oh,
and
yeah.
for I mean, for a lot, honestly, it is the ability to buy certain things or acquire certain things. So I get that. It must have been really tough though, getting to 137 and not buying it. You know,
Oh,
like really be having the discipline to stick to what you set out
yeah.
was
Well, but
yeah.
if I made exceptions, like what there are so many shortcuts you can take in life, right?
Mm, yeah.
But at what cost, at what expense? Plus, it's less fun. But I'm also highly competitive, so I have to watch
Yes.
that too, especially when managing different personalities, teams, generations,
Yeah.
etc. So
I might not
yeah.
always. So I know you have a vision board or vision plan. So what's one of your goals now? What's one of your goals you want to share with the audience that you're working on?
So to excel at being an executive in an organization, because my ultimate goal is the C-suite, and it always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whether it was, you know, while people were playing with Barbies and Kens and GI Joes, I was playing with a Barbie that had a briefcase and a suit. And I don't know that I've
I
ever
love
shared
it.
that. But it's always been my vision. Partly it stems from the fact that my mom was an entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
and um, my dad, God rest his soul, has done and accomplished many things, including working with kings. And so
Yeah.
um, it's
Yeah.
there's a drive that is unmatched. That's why when I said like self-made 3 times, I have no fear of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my 2023 goals is how do I not let my competitive, passionate nature burn out some people around you too,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
And
yeah.
and when you have a multi-generational workforce, it results in other nuances, whether
Mhm.
it's different communication styles, different ways of doing business. One of the biggest challenges I see is I don't want to lose my femininity. Hence
Mm-hmm.
my involvement with Chief, which is an organization for women that have achieved VP and chief status,
Right.
so that I can learn from those that model the way.
Mm.
Meaning, I don't need to be a bro to climb the ladder. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and I will forever, I'm not discriminating against men. That's not at all. Actually, a handful of my mentors that I can just smile and dial and ask for help and questions are male, you know.
Mhm.
But I think some of you that are listening may agree or disagree. It's okay. It's my perspective. Um, so,
Exactly.
uh, but that is like one of my biggest goals is as I continue to climb and have those, how do I not lose the femininity, the passion, the, to drive people to their best abilities,
I
to
like that.
empower
I
them
like
to
that.
achieve their goals. So,
Yeah. And you're right. A great part of being a leader, right, is maintaining at core who we are, but adjusting our interaction points to get the best out of the people on the team, right? And to help them excel. So I understand that. And so I know, so we know we know one of your future goals, but now we're gonna take a look back because you've accomplished a good amount already. Like you said, you've been blessed to be successful, even at reinventing, right, and doing a lot of things. But if there's a piece of advice, if there was something that you would go back and tell young Bana that you think would help her along the way, what do you think it would be?
um, wait 24 hours before hitting send. No, I'm just kidding.
Facts, right? Yes.
Invent an evaporating email.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I there's sometimes where I would think the response and type it out, but I'd read it to my wife, and because she's way more, in tune with things, and she'd be like, you can't send that, or you can't say that way, right? So then I gotta so I actually get that one.
Yeah. Um, my younger self is that. But also, you know, it's funny. I keep thinking back to a executive director that I had when I was in nonprofits. And I've
Mhm.
been fortunate to have good teachers, and people don't realize that good and great teachers are sometimes those that might have rubbed you the wrong way or
Absolutely. Yep.
or were
It's
not
not
great.
always someone that agrees with you.
No,
Yeah.
exactly. And so where he like sat me down, and I was a new director of marketing and membership for a nonprofit with a $4.5 million budget, 5 new staff,
Mhm.
and 50 pissed off volunteers across different states. And
Wow.
so that mattered, that moved the
Mhm.
needle. And he sat in my office. He was, there are times where you're just too passionate. And I'm like,
Interesting.
wait a second. I thought passion is good.
Yes.
And when you sent me the list of questions for today, it
Mhm.
actually took me back to that moment where what he meant, I think, and look, it took 20 years,
To
20 years.
to decipher what he was trying to say or the message he was trying to
Yeah.
deliver.
I know you can't tell, but I age backwards. It took 20 years for it to click, for it to for me to realize what he meant is that yes, you do have to trust. I trust my heart, head, and stomach. If one of them is not aligned, I tend to speak up. Well, there's
Mhm.
a time and a place, you know. Just because your heart, head, and stomach are not aligned, you have two choices. You can either conform or you have a choice to leave.
Mhm.
Many people think that the reason why people have anxiety, I think, in today, is that we're not listening to any of them. We're not listening to head, heart, or stomach, you
Yeah.
know? And believe me, the three of them do align. And that here comes my yoga hat.
Mhm.
Because when they're not aligned, there's imbalance. And so that imbalance creates that email that perhaps should have waited 24 hours on, or
Yeah.
a statement where you think you're providing feedback, but in fact, all you've done is shut someone down. And so I'm not saying I do that, but it
Mhm.
was interesting to look back and just think of scenarios where I'm like, okay, now I know what he meant. Now,
Yeah.
was his delivery great?
Yeah.
No,
Absolutely not.
that is not. By the way, folks, when you tell someone they're not this or they're not that, that is not feedback. Feedback
Yes.
is saying, here's a situation, here's how I would have done it,
Yeah.
or find out from how would you have fixed
Yeah.
this
Feedback
challenge,
needs to
or
be specific, not,
sure.
and it's not condemnation. Condemnation is not feedback. You know what I
No,
mean? Like demeaning someone, that's not feedback either.
no.
So
But look, 20 years later, I figured it out. I mean,
yeah.
um, 20 years and lots of executive coaching therapy. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
But all kidding aside, I mean, if I were to go back and tell my younger self, there is to trust my head, heart, and stomach.
Yeah.
That if you have the foundation of wanting to work your ass off and to accomplish your why and your goals,
Mhm.
trust the process.
Yeah.
And so, and listen, active listening, I was not big on when I was young, but now I definitely do more of it. Because
Good.
how that's how you become a ninja,
Yeah.
candidly.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
That's how we learn from the others, right?
mhm,
This has been awesome, man. It's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this. I mean, because obviously I like a lot of people, we see the powerhouse, in the industry when we're running through a show, right? Or putting on an event or something like that. But this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have these conversations, because now people who watch this get to see a little bit of the behind the scenes, right? A little bit of the motivation, a little bit of the kind of what makes you tick, and in a lot of ways will be able to see themselves, and I think that's a big part of what we wanted to accomplish. So like I said in the beginning, I know you're insanely busy, so thank you so much for doing this. I really really appreciate it. Thank you for joining us this week, and for those of you out there, thank you for joining us as well. We have a charge, so I don't know if there's anyone in the channel that isn't already a part of Bana's network, but whether you're in the channel or not, go out and join, follow her, support her, and the things that she's doing both inside and outside of Avant. If you have an opportunity to support her, please do so. Thank you for spending time with us this week. Bana, thank you for spending time with us this week.
thank you for having me. You're one of the most inspiring people in the channel, so I'm fortunate to get
Aw.
to know you too. Your message at our boot camp on DEI, and you truly are an activist, and it was just brilliant. And so I respect you a lot, and it was a privilege for me to be here today.
I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you to our audience. We'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Brandon.